Good afternoon, guys. How you doing this afternoon on this Sunday? Well, I still can't get out and do none of my research because of the way the weather is and everything. It's just too much going on up here. Nothing's really happening. I'm going to have to wait till this breaks like I told you the last time. So I'm going to do something today that when Garland was around, Garland and I, when we did the documentary on National Geographic, Garland's not here, as you well know, to be here next to me to have this conversation with you, so I'm going to have to do it on my own, obviously. And what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to take you behind the scenes of when we filmed the documentary on National Geographic. I've been quiet about this since we filmed it. I think it's been about 7-8 years now. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you guys know what happened behind the scenes when we were filming that documentary that day. Now, there was definitely some things in there me and Jay were really disappointed about that were not shown in that documentary, and we thought it was going to be shown because it was filmed. And basically what I'm talking about is when we first took the camera crew in, and of course we had to hike in a couple of miles. And they were pretty worn out because carrying all that heavy equipment. And so there was particular types of evidence as we were going to our area that we were going to film, where there was some evidence but was filmed but was not shown. One they did show that was in there was the stone that was on the stump. And yes, that was viable evidence. That was what I call a knocking station, because they communicate through 3 different types of communications: by wood knocking, rock knocking, and of course vocalization. So in this particular case, that was a station for rock knocking, except they're knocking on a stump. And they're communicating at that point with their other members of the group. As we passed that area and we got up into the place we actually filmed, when we arrived there, it blew mine and Garland's mind of what we came into, because you see what happened, it was an area that we had been researching for quite a few years. It was an area that was very productive. We picked up quite a few, just killer trail cam videos out of there. A week before we were going to film there, Garland and I went back up there, and we reset our trail cam in our bait area that was filmed at. Fresh brand new batteries, brand new SD card. We set our bait up with a variety of different types of foods that these hybrids do consume. And I know what they eat, and so it's a guarantee they're going to show up to retrieve the edibles. Now, we've been going back and forth with these hybrids like this for at least 2.5 years. And that's why we took them there, because it's a very productive area. And they're very vocal, and they do like to communicate a lot through wood knocking and rock knocking. They are also known to let their presence known to you, out of the blue. So when we did arrive there, there was evidence that was in the area, and that had to do with the bait we left. They consumed it all. They left the evidence there, where we found in some of the packages, like say teeth marks, uh, more related towards human. Uh, there was parts where the bags were literally ripped open physically. I gave them a variety. They consume a variety of different types of nuts, and some in shells, some not. Ones in shells, they actually was there and deshelling them. They left the evidence right there. No other animal's going to deshell a nut, trust me, when you know it's been deshelled. It's like a human being would deshell a peanut or whatever kind of nut, walnut, what the hell ever. And it was filmed, but it was never shown. Me and Garland we were getting just a little bit upset about that when we found out that, well, of course we didn't know until we actually saw it like you guys. A lot of this was left out, period. And that did kind of piss us off, and it upset us a little bit, because I personally felt, as a researcher, it should have been shown, but it wasn't. Also, when we got there, me and Mark Evans was discussing, and the director Steve, about my wood knocking, if it was a source that would garnish any reply back. I assured them, I guarantee you 100%, when I start communicating, they will communicate back. I know this, I've been doing this with them for years. So as they started filming, and as you know in the film, I started communicating by wood knocking. As soon as I got done, if you remember seeing it, the documentary, I got an immediate response. Mark told me keep on communicating, keep doing it. And as I kept communicating, and as you can see in the documentary, they were actually communicating back with us. When this first occurred, I'm telling you right now, because you couldn't see it, but we did, you should have saw the look on the camera crew's face. I mean, their jaws literally dropped. Their eyes just bugged out of their head. They were kind of freaked out, to be honest. They were a little, unsure of what was going to happen. Especially when I got to the point where I told them that they were coming to feed. What happened was, as I was communicating with them, they were getting closer and closer and closer. So the sound they were picking up, of course, is getting closer and closer. The sound, man, this guy was freaking out big time. And me and Garland knew they were coming, and that is what I told Mark Evans, they're coming. And that's what he replied to be back. Coming for what? Coming to feed. After that point and stuff, that you see, because you have segments that you film and then you don't film, so we filmed that segment, we stopped, and we're kind of discussing things with the camera crew to assure them, just relax, be calm. If they do happen to show up in the area, do not panic. Me and G will intervene. So, and on top of that, as we were discussing things with them too, out of everybody they filmed, we gave them what no one else could. Period. We gave them interaction. I guaranteed it to them, and it happened. Now here's the other thing. The sounds that were coming back, the replies from these hybrids, and mind you, as we're getting closer and closer, so they were picking them up left and right. They dissected that to validify if it was something that had contents to what we were doing, or was it the contents of a different type of sound that was known. Okay? If you recall in the documentary, the sound was unknown. Now, they went and covered that sound up and down, left and right to see exactly where it came from, and to this day, still unknown. We knew what it was, but on the books, still unknown. Now, when we got a break in between filming too, now here is the key part nobody even knows shit about. None of you. Except me and G, Stephanie, and the camera crew. When we took a break, me and Garland decided we wanted to check our trail cam. And what better thing to do as when you got the film crew there, correct? We left it there for a week. Garland went and checked it, opened up the box, he checked see how many videos it took. It took exactly 23 videos. And with all the evidence that was around there, we knew that we had things on that SD card that would have rocked the frickin' world. And rocked the frickin' world of anthropology. That is a frickin' fact. And I stand by that. I just wish G was here to back me up. And me and G smiled. We had big shitty grins on our face. And Steve, the director, he says, what are you guys smiling about? And Mark Evans says, what are you guys doing? I says, we knew. We have something on there. We didn't say it. We and G knew. We said, we just smiled and said, we'll just say that we're content right now of what we know's on here. After we got through filming and wrapping it up in that part, and before we did the second part of the filming, when we met Professor Sykes and Mark Evans. And when we broke loose that filming up there, the camera crew were kind of talking and stuff. One of them approached me and came up to me and G and asked if we, because we had the SD card in our possession, we were going to go home and just, go through it like right now. And so one of them came up and asked us if they could borrow the SD card, if they could view what's on it, and it might be something in there we could use in the documentary. This was the big break me and G was really waiting for, because we knew we had things on here that, like I said, would have rocked the world of anthropology. Literally. So they told us they went back to their hotel rooms, and so we were told that they were going to review the SD card. When they were done, they would return it to me the next day. To this day, right now, I'm telling you, from me to you, I wish to God I never did that. I wished I did not turn it over. We should have kept it. And to this day, I kick myself in the ass for it. It was a stupid thing for me to do. Very stupid. And so I know they reviewed the card. And me and G was hoping that they would use that in the documentary in the second part, maybe. That we're going to film this. We had still to film. When we filmed the second part, I was told by one of the crew members that the SD card that we loaned them all of a sudden disappeared. They lost it. They told me they misplaced it. They can't find it. I was pissed. Man, I was ecstatic, so was G. But you know, you gotta hold up your rapport so you don't look like some idiot. You know, you gotta stay professional. But man, deep inside, we're burning up. We're burning up. I was also told that when they find it, that they'll mail it back to me, or they'll get back to me in some way. Since 2014, 2015, I have not seen that SD card to this day. Period. It just vanished. Now, you got to ask yourself one huge, big frickin' question. Do you seriously think that that SD card just miraculously disappeared? Do you seriously think that I believe, or do you even believe, that it was misplaced? Hell no. No, none of the above. Like I said, what was on that SD card would have blew your minds out of the saddle. And would have turned anthropology world upside down. In every whichever direction you could bounce off. That is a fact. So here I sit today. My hands are tied and there's nothing I can even do about it. But what happened, I just told you, is the absolute truth of what went on. And to this day, I'm really upset about that part. I really am. Later on, I was contacted by Steve. He was the director, and I think he got kind of upset about the situation. The film management itself, she was a female, very nice gal. I believe she was upset, and then all of a sudden it was kind of strange, but they both got replaced. In other words, they no longer work for the film company that filmed it. Strange, huh? Maybe they were upset because of what was on that SD card. Maybe they were upset, maybe the world should have been let known. What do you think? I was contacted by Steve a couple weeks later, and he wanted to do another documentary just about Garland and I and our research. He wanted to really get in, he really wanted to film everything we had to offer. I was collaborating with this for him for weeks. He was hooked up with another film company, a producer out in New York, and we were all conversing. It was like a go, and I haven't heard anything since that point. It's almost like, I kind of felt like it was, like I was taboo. Don't get near this guy because I'm too real, you see. When you're too real, it scares the hell out of people. It's like reality's too real, correct? Most people run from reality. They don't embrace it, they don't accept it, they don't consume it, they run from it. And that's the truth. So, that's when it went down that day, and between you and me, I surely wish I had that SD in my hand right now. I really do. So, you figure it out. What the hell you guys think? Huh? Think about it real good. Why would you take my SD card? If there was nothing on that card, you would have returned it. That's common sense. But you didn't. And then you gave me an excuse that it was mysteriously disappeared. It's a no-brainer, guys, you think? And like I said, it would have rocked the world like you can't believe. Bam. Well, one thing about me, I don't cry over spilled milk. Done's done, there's nothing I can do about it. So, but I did let you know what really happened. Now that makes me feel a little bit more content to let you know of what really went down. Okay? One more thing before I let you go. There was a point when we were filming, which was never said. There was some that got a little close. The hybrids. They were making just a little bit of racket out there. They do like to show their prowess, their physical prowess by, they'll go up some thickets and they'll literally push their body up against their chest and all that and just, and just to let you know there's something big there. This was after we were communicating, and I'm telling you right now, when we broke film, everybody in that camera crew, I think they crapped their pants up bad because they were shook it up. I mean, they had an experience they'd never experienced before, ever. They told me this, we talked. Out of everybody they filmed, we were the only ones that gave them something. We gave them something all right. We just never got it returned. So, you guys ain't never going to see what was on that SD card. Someone else did. And I'm pretty much know who somewhere in the science world, in that little circle, they know. But you guys will never know. I know. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go now. I hope you appreciate what I've just told you, because otherwise you would have never known. Now you know. Too bad. Well, like they say, life goes on, correct? Okay, guys. Hey, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, okay? I'm going to do the same. I'll catch you on the rebound. Take care, man.